hopefully soon here we'll see some curricular mind and body.
I know it actually is. It makes such a huge difference to see the light
And color.
in color, exactly.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call the March 10th, 2026 meeting of the Downtown Development Committee to order. The time is 3:01 p.m. I would like to begin with the land acknowledgement. I acknowledge with respect that we are in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Powhatan. Powhatan is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes from February 10th, 2026 meeting. Resolved that the minutes of the February 10th, 2026 meeting be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Bella, thank you. May I have a seconder? Marie, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, the next item is declaration of pecuniary interest. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, we will proceed. The next item is the adoption of the agenda. Resolved that the agenda for the March 10th, 2026 committee meeting be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Dawn, thank you. May I have a seconder? Isabella, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We will now move to business arising. Our first item is 5.1 communication strategy. Tessa Vecchio, manager of communications, will present to the committee. Is that right? Vecchio?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you everyone for having us today. We're really excited to be bringing you this discussion. I'm here today with Zoe, who's our communications and digital media coordinator, and Nicholas, who is an intern in our office for the next year. So this is the team. This is the comms team. You got us today. This is actually an area that we are so excited to be presenting in because we see so much potential in this area. Oh, come on in. Hi.
Yeah, all right.
Good. So much potential in this area for all things positive and exciting that are happening here in Sault Ste. Marie. It certainly beats our day-to-day discussion in terms of communication, what we're dealing with now, especially like potholes and winter control removal. And so this is like the area that we love to live in, right? So using social media to strengthen community pride and to amplify all of the incredible work that's happening downtown, supporting local businesses, and ultimately bringing more people into the downtown core. So that's essentially how we want to see social media be used to strengthen this community connection. So our strategy is based on essentially one simple principle, is that when communication is clear and intentional and focused, engagement is going to naturally grow with us. And once engagement grows, that's going to translate into downtown activity that will essentially grow with it. So there's a lot of people in this room that know about social media and all of the principles of it. So I won't spend too much time on it, but definitely this is one area that we see that we could strengthen community connections for sure. The next slide, please. So when we look at our city's current Facebook account structure, right now the city operates a number of individual social media accounts that are tied to facilities and events and programs, and each of these pages definitely serve a purpose. But the challenge is that our audience generally gets fragmented and gets lost when followers are generally interested in what's happening downtown, but there might be messages that are spread across multiple platforms. So there's a little bit of fragmentation that we recognize was happening with our Facebook accounts. So in some instances, our messages are in fact getting lost or diluted. So when we look at the actual structure of the Facebook, for example, we have within the vicinity of downtown, there's the GFL, there's arts and cultures generally falls within the downtown vicinity. We have the Ermitinger, Florida National Historic Site, we have the Plaza, we have the Pavilion, and then as we know, the Sioux Downtown Association, as it was formerly known. So all these areas really contribute to this downtown structure. The next slide, please. When we look at the Instagram account structure, the same thing is what we're seeing, where we have multiple accounts that are essentially promoting the same thing. And we wanted to try to streamline that a little bit more to create essentially a downtown voice. So when we look at the next slide, Josh, this is what we're proposing in terms of a new account breakdown. So we looked at the city's main account. So we have the city of Sault Ste. Marie in general. Within our account, we would migrate the John Rhodes, the Northern Community Center, as well as our Active 55 Plus program. But when we look at what a downtown channel could look like, we really put our minds towards something called a super channel. So within that super channel, we wanted to incorporate the GFL Memorial Gardens, downtown events, Bondar, arts and culture, Ermitinger, Plaza, Vivid. So all of these areas would essentially replace the existing individual pages, and the channel becomes sort of a central storytelling hub for everything happening in the downtown core. So what this page essentially would highlight then would be festivals, events, business spotlights, waterfront activities, the arts and culture, downtown revitalization initiatives, markets, seasonal activities that are happening. So in short, what this really then becomes is this digital front door almost to downtown Sault Ste. Marie. And it's where everyone can kind of go to discover what's happening, where to go, and why the downtown matters to us. Next slide. Our goals here are pretty straightforward. So first, we want to grow our audience and amplify our reach. And when we consolidate the content, we're essentially expanding our visibility. We're making it much easier for people to find out about downtown information. And we're creating these like meaningful engagement opportunities. We want people to be commenting and sharing and participating in downtown conversations. We want to improve consistency and the responsiveness of a lot of the relevant information that we will be sharing on this page. And then also residents then know that they can rely on the city and this account for its accurate information as to what's happening in this vicinity. We want to tell the downtown story better, essentially. And the one way that we think we could do this is by amalgamating a lot of these accounts. So what this means is that we highlight businesses, events, all of our placemaking efforts, the people who make this core so vibrant, and the elements that will all work together within this vicinity that are going to essentially strengthen the downtown and brand the local economy essentially in that area. Next slide. So our tactics, very similar to what we see with other social media platforms. We want it to feel very human, very timely, very relatable. Our approach obviously focuses on that timely responses where we have people actively monitoring this account where they provide quick answers. What time is the event? What's the how much is it going to cost? Where does it happen? When does it happen? Like we have these responses ready to go. And we also create these relatable moments. So these real moments and real events where we have short videos and photos and these quick updates that will be captured by staff or people in the area that bring that authenticity to the platform and that bring the energy of the downtown. And then third is the user participation. So that's encouraging the residents and visitors to share their experience and to actually create that sense of ownership of downtown. So when people actually see themselves reflected in the story of downtown, they generally become ambassadors for it and want to see themselves there. For us here at the City of Sault Ste. Marie, one of the pillars of our corporate strategic plan is service delivery and customer service, essentially. So for us, it fits under the customer service pillar. Simple, honest, transparent, accessible communication, timely communication, providing these clear answers, directing people to the appropriate resources, and ensuring that they feel heard and that they can trust a relatable source. When we look at the downtown development, what the pillars are of this particular committee, you can see that we've highlighted there. The one thing that jumped out at me in terms of responsibilities is streamlining communications. And I think that's the intention of what all of us are trying to do here is really streamline communications and build this story, build this brand of the downtown. So I think between the city and its customer service lens and this committee and its streamlining communications lens, we're really going to create something that's really, really awesome. So I've taken this is actually from the city's brand story. So going back to a little bit of our rebranding as a city, we look at, every kind of successful downtown has an identity. What makes ours unique? This is actually pulled from our brand story. So for us, it was about the waterfront, the history, the culture, our local businesses, and most importantly, it's our people, right? We're learning, we're gathering, we're working, we're playing. So the question then becomes, how do we tell a story in a way that really resonates with the audience? And our answer is really kind of a simple but powerful message, what we came up with. Again, when we look at what Sault Ste. Marie is, we start by defining kind of our downtown and what it represents. It's not just a place for us, but it's building this experience. So this is where we see events happen, we see culture celebrated, we see a place where community gathers, and it's just a messaging that reinforces not just a district on a map, but essentially like the heart of the city. So what we came up with is You Belong. So You Belong Sault Ste. Marie, the official downtown page for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, your hub for local events, festivals, business highlights, revitalization updates, shopping, dining, and more. Whether you live, work, or play here, this page celebrates the energy, culture, connections that make our downtown unique. Stay informed, get involved, and discover what's new. It's downtown, it's where you belong. This positioning tagline is very inclusive, it's very welcoming, and it also speaks to not only the residents, but visitors alike to our community. And we would like to extend this idea, next slide, into different areas of the downtown specifically. So you belong in downtown Sault Ste. Marie, but not only that, you belong by the water for our summer concert series. You belong in history at the Ermitanger Fleur National Historic Site. You belong in entertainment at the GFL Memorial Gardens. You belong in dining at some of our local restaurants. You belong in experiences that are happening within the downtown. It's sort of their space and their community. It's very much a sense of belonging. Next slide. When we look at the Facebook structure account then, so previously we were the Sioux Downtown Association. We would then become the You Belong branding. So if you take a look at organizing the content around this downtown hub, we're essentially creating this pathway to a way of discovering the downtown. So instead of disconnected updates from all of these individual pages, we're going to see this cohesive story starting to form. When we look at kind of the projection of what the potential reach of this platform could accomplish, it would be tens and thousands of people. Obviously, the reach becomes then that powerful tool where there's a lot of local businesses and downtown development and economic development that's happening. So when we're combining the actual structures of the individual accounts, our potential reach essentially becomes, over 20,000 followers when we really streamline our communication processes. Similarly, with our Instagram account structure, again, when we're combining the resources, we're looking at a potential reach of, over 10,000 people really seeing what this message is. we sort of put together a little bit of example content, what something like this could look like. So it's highlighting the people, the places that are going to make downtown special. So you can see we're spotlighting some businesses such as Ignition there. We also have promoting events. So maybe I'll go to the Bryan Adams concert, but I'm going to stop at the local restaurant there to grab a bite to eat first. Or maybe it's March break and I see that there's a kids camp happening at the Ermitinger and the Plaza, and I'm going to stop by you know, another restaurant for lunch, or I'm going to bring my kids downtown for another event that's happening. So you start to see coming together downtown and you start to see what's really happening. This is what we came up with as kind of the header and the imagery for this site. So you can see it's that whole span of the Bush Plain all the way through to the Canal District. So you see those iconic monuments of our downtown community, which you see the Ermitanger, you see the museum, you see a little bit of the plaza, you see the tent pavilion, you see our GFL Memorial Gardens, you see the Canal District. So it's really tying in this sense of community, this sense of belonging, this page for all things sort of Sault Ste. Marie. This is a sample of what the Instagram account could look like, and we would also sort of segment it differently. So depending on the site that we're at, you could see different activities going on in the plaza with our Active 55 community, at the Bondar Pavilion, but then also peppering that in with business spotlights and highlights of things that are happening within the downtown area. This is actually an example, ironically, stones. This is sort of a sample of what this kind of discoverability aspect is. So it's actually showing people and showcasing a lot of the businesses that are in the downtown area. We've used this image before. I'm not sure if any of you have picked up on it, but this was, we commissioned this art from Amy Williams, who's a local artist. And she initially started this project for us almost over 2 years ago now, where this outline of downtown initially started as a sketch of just a pencil. And then as downtown started to, you know, the reconstruction of downtown, all of the revitalization efforts were happening downtown, we got her to add more color and more dimension and add the flowers and add, you know, all the elements that are contributing to the downtown. So now we have this beautiful landscape of this particular block anyways of the downtown. Now you'll see that we featured businesses when we were going through the downtown reconstruction project. So we will use some of those businesses also to highlight different areas that are having, you know, a sale or different activities that are going on, or just things that are available within that space, how you can access the space. Is there a back door? Is there certain sales that are going on? Just really working with the businesses to see what messages that they actually want to share. So discovering those upcoming activities, planning visits with friends, family, how they might do that, and also returning there more frequently. So once people start changing their habits, they're going to start coming down a little bit more often. This is again another example. So peppered in with these business highlights would be events, upcoming events. You know, we have Moonlight Magic also happening. So maybe I'm following this account for the business spotlights, but in between all of that content, I'm also going to see that Moonlight Magic is happening November 20th to 26th. So that's going to bring me and my family back downtown. Again, creating this sort of this constant flow of information and activity that's happening in the area. Another interesting feature that we want to incorporate with this communications plan is events. So similarly to what tourism uses on their event page, anyone could actually go onto their page, put their name, their email address, the event name, the actual website URL, the event date, and upload an image. And then essentially what it creates is, next page. It looks something like this. So right on our website, we would have an events calendar where businesses or anyone in the area that's having an event in the downtown, they're able to populate this calendar on their own. So the back end of this involves us just sort of curating a little bit of that content. But essentially, this is what will happen: is it'll create this, almost like a directory of what's coming up, what's happening. You could see it all at a glance as to, you could share these with social media interaction, you could promote different events, and you could easily see what's happening downtown. The way that the content will flow and the workflow of this all essentially would be, the business would drop the content, there'd be an internal review by us just to make sure that everything is appropriate. And then we would schedule it and publish it. So it's a very seamless process that would be open to anyone in that vicinity to help populate this content. So this ensures that the content essentially is professional, aligned with, our city priorities and the priorities of this committee, and also responsive to the needs of our community. So by repeating this process, it's going to become a really cool calendar, we think. And the results, what we're hoping to accomplish essentially is this stronger visibility downtown, more engagement around the events and the festivals that are happening, the increased awareness of our revitalization efforts, stronger storytelling. That's really what we want to see. And these placemaking initiatives that we're working on, essentially leading to increased foot traffic, economic activity in the downtown. And that's something I think that we're all sort of working towards. So in closing then, downtowns we feel thrive when people feel connected to them, when they feel like they already belong to them. So our job as communicators then is to tell that story and to tell it consistently and enthusiastically, and create sort of a focused channel of where we can amplify all of the incredible work that's happening already. We can support our local businesses, celebrate our community culture, and invite more people to experience the downtown the way that we see it. Because we think that when people believe that they belong to something, they're going to show up, right? So our entire community then essentially will benefit by creating a space where we all belong.
Thank you, Tessa.
Thank you.
Are there
We're
any
happy to
questions?
take any questions or concerns, of course.
I have a question. The colors and the fonts were great. And I just wanted to state about that. I love the use statement. Very powerful. I'm just asking, it looks like you have, but just wondering if you referred to the Ontarians Disability Act.
Yes, so that's another great point. So all of our content has to follow AODA compliance. And that's another reason why there's that streamlining process where we have to review the content before it actually goes up. Because a lot of the photos have to be tagged properly. They have to have the correct fonts. They have to, adhere to all of the AODA compliant measures. And because we have our new website design too, a lot of those features are already built in. So it will automatically flag it for us as like, red, do not post, like you can't go any further, if we're not meeting the AODA compliance. Yeah, that's a great question though. Thank you for that.
The question, just going back to some of the social media stuff. I mean, obviously our goal here is to rebrand as we transition from the former BIA to the new downtown association and whatnot. Now, do you have means, or do you verify the accounts of people that are engaging in our social media pages? Like, for example, like you have a message, you have a great message, you're putting the message out, but if you're interacting with, say, like a bot account or, you know, a bogus account, you're wasting your time, right? Because that's not who you want to engage with. You want to, so you have a means of being able to do that so that to make sure that our message is directed to the people that we want to get the message and through ultimately to be able to flow through to their social networks and put our message through there. So that,
Yeah, I mean, this is what we thought would be kind of the beauty of this is because the people are going to engage with content. Whether they're interested in one, like one topic or another. So if I'm interested in plaza information, I'm also going to see information about, you know, a lunch feature or something. So it's already people that are engaging with like-minded topics. In terms of the bots, I mean, there's no way that we really verify who's who or who's interacting.
no, I guess is that something that you can build in to verify kind of? I'll give you an example from my, you know, planning. We use a CRM system that essentially compiles everything that everybody says about us on the internet,
Yes.
right? And it kind of breaks it down to say, okay, these are the things that are like, these are the things people don't like. And it really helps us filter through things that are meaningful to the people that we're trying to target,
For sure.
right? So they can kind of filter out a lot of the bogus things that can happen when you're operating online, right? So that like, you know, I don't have somebody who's say, you know, really got upset with me and then they start a campaign with making up accounts and all that, you know, so, you know.
That's the city. No, definitely, we've experienced this for sure, a lot. We don't have like an actual program, per se that monitors who's who and who's saying what. We do it manually right now. It's a manual process. So by having these multiple, people on this account, it was also a way for us as only the two of us currently now monitoring 30 plus accounts. Now we have a team in place that are actually monitoring the comments, that are helping to respond to these people. We actually go into the back end and have the ability to, you know, remove inappropriate comments, remove certain people that don't follow, you know, the guidelines that we expect them to as interactions. And then in some cases, it's a way for us to even sort of gauge the temperature of things around the community too. So if people are really angry about something, it's actually, you know, it's helpful for us to know what they're angry about. And if there's a way that we could fix a problem for them or help them in any way.
Now, I guess that leads to the second question. Now, is that something that you could use, say, AI to take the burden? Like, I mean, I like, believe me, when I get behind on looking, say, at our reviews, it's
Deep dark places.
it's a big process to get yourself back up to speed.
For sure.
So I guess is that an opportunity to say, well, we could have an AI program to kind of help us filter through, drill down, really, instead of having to read 40 things about potholes, you know, telling me, okay, that's a big problem, guys. Here's our strategy here. Here's what we're gonna put out. They can really be able to do it in real time,
For sure.
right? Instead of, you know, it's say delayed down the road or where people say don't feel heard or don't feel like, yeah, they got this is great. I can complain. I can do this. I can do that. But really, nothing ever happens. You know what I mean? So I guess is there an opportunity to do that?
Yeah, like there are paid paid companies that actually monitor these things. We don't have a system like that here at the city. We don't pay for anything. There are like, you know, the Hootsuite and different platforms that will actually track all of this stuff for you. We use more of like the free software, like the Google Analytics, and we do have analytics on our website. We see how many people are clicking. We see the analytics on our social media. In the back end, we see where our followers are from. We see their genders. We see approximately where they live. We see their ages. Like Facebook provides us and Instagram provides us a lot of this content already. So we have a general sense of that community. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we would like to look into if the resources allow us to.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'll give you another example. I just participated in they said we have all kinds of tech tools that are made available to us. So I participated in a discussion about, is your business Chat GPT ready, for example? And because now the trend is people will go in, and I tried it, go in and say, hey, with the Chat GPT and say, can you create a 3-day itinerary for me and Sault Marie for August, for example. You give it a range, and what it'll do, it'll scan everything, scan sites that I guess are prepared or have the right combination of things that ChatGPT would pick up. That will say, okay, you can go to Sault Marie. This say there's a Rotary Fest going on. You can stay at Microtel. Here's their booking link. Here's the link to buy tickets to Drying Island, whatever the thing may be. It's actually kind of neat, but you have to, when you're putting out your websites and then I guess the underlying technology that goes into this stuff that you upload and put on your social media pages and stuff like that, it has to be prepared to be interpreted by AI, or in this particular case, ChatGPT, which might, like I said, really help you. Like, somebody who's like, I don't have to screen through 40 events. I could have an itinerary made for me. So I don't know. I don't know if part of this rebrand or part of this thing that's part of the conversation. Because from what I've learned, if you're not in the space, you're going to be behind the 8 ball.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely this streamlining of all of the platforms is going to help precisely with that problem where people can get a snapshot of this is what I can do for the weekend of August 12th to 19th. Because it's all available in like one spot for them versus going to all these different locations and trying to piece it together themselves. The goal is to make things easier for the customer to see there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of activities that I could participate in any weekend here in Sault Ste. Marie. So they would see that then through the events calendar, through the one-stop shop of here's everything that we have to offer you.
If I could
Yeah.
piggyback off that, Tessa, I'm thinking about the user, Don, and I think we're the product, not the user, right? When you say someone's looking for that kind of information, that calendar especially would house that metadata that AI would grab for the participant. And I'm not saying that the exploration of that is valid, but I think we're kind of looking at it at a 180 where it's we're the product when it comes to this.
Right, but I think the flip side of that is you have to set it up from the consumer perspective, right? So you're saying like, we're trying to target a certain type of consumer, right? So like, to whether attract, to get the information in front of the people who may visit a downtown event, for example, right? So when we're building a communication strategy, it should be from the perspective of who's ultimately going to be looking at this, and is it going to give them what they're looking for, right? Not just saying, okay, well, the product, okay, these are our products, come on in, right? Like, I mean, we have to target what we want people to see and who we want.
I feel like it's pretty easy on Facebook's back end. Like it's pretty doable. I mean, I'm sure you guys do it all the time, especially even if you boost a post, you can pretty much target it to geographical area by age, by gender. Like you can really go pretty in depth with who you're targeting, which I think is good.
And then once the engagement goes up, there's more engagement, then the more it's gonna show up in those results naturally. Is it all natural growth on these pages that you're going for?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think too, we have a lot of like, support local Facebook groups, a lot of engagement through that. Once you share it to that, and it grows from there, like you were saying.
And I have a question for you on a different topic. Is there a way to put Sault Ste. Marie in that logo at all? Just to kind of
Yeah.
tie it in, because I like that and I think it goes really well with all the other ones, but when I was looking at it, just thinking of someone that might come across the page
Yeah.
and not read it as quickly as other people might, it might be effective to have SSM
Sure.
just kind of at the bottom, a little bit smaller, something like that. Were there any other questions? Can I just ask?
For the events calendar, what's the timeline from when they submit it to when it is published?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we would like more than 24 hours notice. We were thinking like a week in advance would be sufficient.
And is it going to be mentioned at all on the site?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so all of this information would be communicated to the businesses directly.
Okay.
So that they're able to contribute.
Maybe
Sorry.
I could just add one thing real quick. One thing on this, when we talked in terms of tourism, our biggest page for Facebook right now. So the scale of adding all these smaller channels from Edmonton or Senior Center, Wander Tent, to allow us to get major scale. And then we're taking the downtown portfolio right now. It has 4,000 or 5,000 members. So that's going to allow us to really get that scale. And if we can get up to 30,000 people, I guess that'll be our goal eventually. But we'll be well and above that, because we have a lot of good posts that are happening at some of these smaller locations. We're gonna have 1,000 followers, whereas now they're gonna have instantly over 10 by doing this. Right now, it's gonna make a big difference moving forward. And then all the individual people that post right now can also post on the super channel. So it's not just limited. So there's the 2 individuals here. We're gonna have a team of over 10 that can post to this page, and they'll all be authorized to do it. So there'll be a lot more activity on this main page. So
38,000 is a great goal.
Yeah. Hey.
And you had a question?
Yeah, it kind of tied into that actually, just like, are the other pages, is the intention to shut them down? Like they will eventually just exit?
Yeah.
And so those followers that kind of grew organically through those, it'll just be like an ask, like.
Yeah,
please
so
come over.
their strategy is, it'll probably take about a month or 2 to completely migrate the people over and the content over. But yeah, you'll see these teaser posts start to happen where it's like, we're moving and follow us now, and this is the date that we're gonna start shutting it down. Yeah, so the intention is to grab as many of those followers as possible. We may see fluctuations happen initially because, like, for example, myself, I follow all 7 of those accounts. So now my 7 is gonna become a 1. So we may see some of that happening too. But then we're also going to see different audiences of people that are engaging with content that may have never seen or heard of things before.
My other question was your top visual too included bush plane and canal, but obviously those are not part of it, but they're still
No, they are.
in.
For the definition of downtown for the committee moving forward, we're Bush Plain to Canal District, waterfront to Alfred Street.
But not absorbing their social media.
No, I'm sorry, Stella.
No,
Because
not
we had listed those,
Yes.
that they were in the
But they
picture.
could definitely be contributors,
Got it.
definitely.
Got it,
Yes.
understood.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, the events calendar, is it also, you mentioned businesses, is it also available for nonprofits? That if they're hosting anything downtown? Like
In
for-
the downtown.
Yeah, like for example, that we had for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters Association, we had the Santa,
Great.
for example. Yeah. So they would be able to,
That's right. We want to showcase all the activity that's happening downtown. If it's downtown, we want to tell that story.
in the timeline is a week.
Is there a way on that page, because I'm just wondering, some people might think that it's a place to suggest an event as opposed to an event that already exists and they've planned and they're
Sure.
putting on the calendar, is there a way to maybe have this?
Make
area
your
that
planned event.
specifies that?
Yeah. Planned event.
Just to
Yeah,
clarify, because you might get
planned event.
an influx of people being like, hey, I wanna have that thing.
Yeah.
Josh.
I know my mom is thinking of one right now already, and she'd be all over that page.
Love it.
Anybody else?
If there's any other comments or suggestions, please by all means reach out to us. You'll start to see some of the transitions happening over the next little while. So please, if you have any additional comments after this meeting, just let us know.
Well, I'm obsessed. I think it's so good. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really, really
I have
good.
a question, resolution from the committee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Good. Proceed.
right, so that's my curveball for the day.
Oh,
I don't have that in
I
my.
thought it was just information. That the Downtown Development Committee, received the proposed plan from the Communication Department and moved forward in the direction to amalgamate these social media platforms, over the coming months.
Yeah. Okay, may I have a mover? There we go. Great.
I'm so
Okay.
excited.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll see you. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item is 5.2 staffing update. I will turn it over to John.
I have no request for resolution. I just have some information pieces. So as far as our staffing goes, I'm super pleased to say that our two parks employees through Public Works have been hired, and I saw them yesterday out cleaning up our downtown core, which is super exciting. For context, these staff are currently working through the defined boundary of the downtown that I just mentioned a minute ago, and assessing the time it takes to perform their duties. And once they have a clear understanding of how long this takes, the area is then going to be broken up into sections, and a recurring route and timelines will be determined. Their operational hours are 8 AM to 4:30 PM Tuesday through Saturday. This was a question that came through via my email this week. Yes, they are trained to properly perform biohazard collection as well. A few exceptions for that schedules are they are going to be helping with pre and post cleaning of events, as well as event setup and takedown. So beautiful sunny day yesterday. Noticed, the debris as the snow melts. Super happy to see them on Queen Street. It was awesome. So that's my only update on staff.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions or comments from the committee? Okay, moving on. The next item is 5.3, leverage empty retail space for experiential marketing campaigns.
So just for context, since we have some new folks on the table, we're working on a marketing campaign to take over some storefront windows with advertisements on downtown products, a few tourism products, things along those lines. So if you can imagine our next event coming up, some vinyl claims advertising that event on its way to match the city's branding in some sort of capacity. And then we also talked last meeting about having some sort of ROI for those business owners, whether it's QR code or this property is vacant, check out the listing, something along those lines. So we did some research in regards to best practicing, because that's best practices, because that's always good. So we reached out to a few municipalities that had this program, or at least a similar program, and St. Catharines was a great help to us. So right now we have a draft agreement up with our legal department regarding permissions for us to use the storefronts and the responsibilities for both parties, vis-a-vis the property owner and the city implementing this program. Last month I presented quotes, which were kind of flying colors. So we're just waiting for our legal department to come back with that standard agreement and to get that approved, and we're going to be able to hit the ground running. So next step for staffs would be to get that legal agreement, to get that all approved with our department heads, and then to loop back with tourism. I had suggested kind of a breakdown at the last meeting. If we got 10 properties, a couple will go to events, a couple will go to some of our products that are downtown, and then a couple would go to larger tourism products or what tourism wants to assign to essentially. So we're not in a holding pattern. We've made progress, but I don't have, we're not across the finish line with that.
The mock-ups look great though.
They did, yeah.
Any questions? Okay, so resolved that the Downtown Development Committee supports the use of vacant retail space for experiential marketing purposes and direct staff to develop a plan for council based on the information presented. May I have a mover? John, thank you. May I have a seconder? Marie? Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. So the next item is 5.4 events. John will take that one too.
You'll remember, I believe it was just last month that we went through kind of finalizing the event guide on what we're going to be focusing on, what we want to grow. Really great conversation around that, and we've been able to communicate, Bree and I, we have an event in an hour and 15 minutes, so she's on site, finishing that up, or getting that.
Oh, it's Mario Day.
Mario Day.
God.
We're super excited.
I'm
It's
excited.
going great, and the plaza space looks really good. Looking forward to expanding that next year. But we've been able to talk to every organizer that isn't internal to the city in regards to our plan, and really positive feedback. Really excited about the community buy-in we have with this committee in regards to our event. So that's phenomenal. So what's next now that Tessa has shared the community's strategy? What we would like to do, and we've had a conversation with Millworks already, but we'd like to put together an open house where we can do some face-to-face with businesses in regards to staff, how to reach us. We talked about the phone line and the website and now the social media. Have a little bit of an education in regards to submitting an event or being active with this new committee. Yeah, and how to communicate this to our downtown core. So as far as an event, that's an event on the business side that we're going to be working towards. We've also had some great conversations with Millworks and the EDC. I know we discussed cross collaboration. We discussed lease and leaseholders and tenants.
Yeah.
I don't have that today, but what I do have is inside of our events, we're not just talking about events for bringing people downtown, but also talking about events for businesses in order to, propel their success. So been working with Millworks with that. So that's a quick little update. We do have a survey going out to downtown businesses regarding the event calendar that this committee locked in last month, and we're seeking input from our community downtown. So real quick, a couple examples. Would you consider adjusting your hours for the event? Are there past downtown events that you thought were well executed and why? Is there any advantage or information you'd like to share in regards to your business? There, you can be part of a larger marketing campaign in regards to these events downtown. So that'll definitely go out before our next meeting. I'm just not sure when in between March and April that it's going.
Actually,
Yeah, that's another thing. We do have a mail out now that we've locked in on the social strategy that'll be going to everybody inside of the definition of our downtown in regards to how to communicate with us. And that's exciting. We talked about that phone tree. It's not just how to communicate with us, but how to put in an order at Public Works if there's an issue, on your block. If you need business development help, where do you go? So looking forward to getting that off the ground sooner rather than later. But since this was kind of a unanimous check mark for us in regards to social media, we're ready to move forward.
thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I have a couple questions, because I know we're still transitioning, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, the former BIA, the businesses or property owners that were part of the BIA paid a levy to pay for certain items and stuff like that. Now, I know we were, I guess, inheriting whatever money was left from the old BIA and that kind of stuff. Now, how do we, how are we going forward to be able to say, okay, that there's certain services or certain ideas that, I think before part of the levy paid for the guys that will be down there cleaning up, right? And I think now through the parks division or whatever it is through the city budget. I guess how's that gonna function? Like that relationship now with this board? Because like before there were stakeholders, right? Like, you know, they paid essentially to be a part of it. Now they're not. So like, how's that gonna work? How's that gonna look?
Yeah, I can take that one. So before the letters were doing $12,000 or so, and that's what this is downtown. Now we have a budget in place from the city for this year going forward. We also got money from the BIA that came over as in reserve, so this committee will have oversight on that money that's there. And you can disclose that in the future board meeting once that's finally finished with finance, and then you can set priorities of how you want to use those funds. But we also have our staff, so we have 2 public works employees that are now in place. We have part-time hours that are additional. There's also 2 summer students that are dedicated to downtown force. So you have a lot more resources, and you have a full team like our corporate communications team this comes in, support, right? So it's really up to you how to utilize the funds that are left over. So you build a pot of money there to do special things on the budget through the downtown. So I'm not sure if that answered your question exactly, but you do have some money that's there. But you also have your ongoing budget.
Right. I guess what I was getting at is you were talking about contract, having a contract with the whole window front plan and stuff like that. And where I was going, or where I'm trying to go is thinking, whether it's a formal contract or some sort of social contract. Like I know there's a property standards division, like, and obviously we want to be able to say, or like if we're putting all this effort into, keeping downtown clean, doing these things to dress up the storefronts and stuff like that. We have to have an expectation that the people that own property down there are contributing their share in the sense that whether it's, elbow grease, keeping their properties up to standard, right? Or some sort of, I don't know how I would describe it, but some sort of way of saying, hey, look, we're trying to do something here, play ball with us.
Yeah, I think on that question, so if you're seeing a property that looks like that, we have our avenues with their building inspection.
Yeah, like
here, they could go through our work order system here, and if there's something not already being addressed, we could do that in the south.
So
Works our planning works very closely with who sits on this committee, also works closely. So if there's a problem with a specific property, that could be identified. It may already be on our radar or not, but I get what you're saying is you want to put all this great work in, and next year when you get to one other property that's as addressed.
Yeah,
we have an opportunity to go for a building department to enforce them.
Yeah, because the one that comes to mind is that place that was burned down beside, just on the first square here that was torn down, and it still looks like hell. Like that property, like, I don't know, like, because that's close to the plaza, for example, so, you say, okay, we're trying to attract events and this, we can't have a broken down, okay, we have a fenced off, I can't go there, but we can't have
The lingering property.
like, you know what I mean, like, part of it is gonna be for show, right? Like, we wanna put our best foot forward, and we wanna make sure that things are looking up the par and looking up the speed, and, even if it means, having to put additional pressure on the particular property owner to say, hey, step up or whatever. Like, we don't think, I'm not sure how the property standards committee works, or, what the process is, but, and whether it's, coming up with a more aggressive.
Yeah, I can say from my perspective, they're very happy. So any of the bylaws that go, get a letter, you get a timeline to respond and correct it. And if not, it'll be taken care of beyond the city, they'll get it on taxes. So I think it's, if you see something that place, like that particular building was an example, one where they demoed it and they left the steel beam sitting in the middle of the lot. That's bylaw action.
Yeah.
Sent out to the vendors to get it cleaned up. So there are avenues. push property owners to meet certain standards.
But I get what you mean, like you wanna say you belong and you don't wanna say you belong in front of that. Any other questions? Okay. So, yes, that's it, yep. Okay, so the next meeting of the Downtown Development Committee will take place on April 14th, 2026 at 3 p.m. And the final item on the agenda is the adjournment. Resolved that this committee now adjourned, may I have a mover? Isabella? Thank you, may I have a seconder? John? All those in favor? Okay, carried, meeting is now adjourned. You're making good time at these things today.
You have, we still on that. It's a few weeks and that.